I'm Marcus Blake.
And I'm Alex Moore.
All right, tonight we had a chance to see rhythm section starring Blake Lively and Jude Law. And a little interesting fact about this movie, it's produced by Neon, or Michael Wilson and Barbara Broccoli, the same people behind James Bond. But I want to mention first that this ain't no James Bond movie. So, we do want to give you a fair warning. We are going to have some spoilers, but we're going to dive right in and talk about this movie. So you were telling me that this movie was winning you over by the end, right?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't start off too hot for you?
Well, I was a little bit, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but there were a lot of flashback sequences.
Right.
They were very prevalent. Thankfully, they didn't stay in the movie by the end, but the first half of the movie, I thought there was way too much of that, and to me, when you overuse a feature like that, it can really be a distraction. It can really slow down the movie.
I get flashback scenes if like you're doing training or whatever, or if you want to do flashback scenes in the middle of a conversation, like the Vinci show where they end up going all around them at times. I get that. But the whole point of flashback scenes is to really dive into the backstory of someone. And I felt like the only thing I need to know is, my parents got killed on a plane ride, on a plane ride, and now, spoiler, all of a sudden now I'm a drug addict and a prostitute. But our flashbacks are all about me and my loving family. You think one scene playing part of your loving family, everybody would stop on a plane?
We have to establish an emotional connection to the characters and have to be invested initially to really feel those moments. And they hit you with it right at the beginning, and then it kind of wanes as it goes on. If anything, you kind of want to go the other way.
Right.
You have a time to get to know those characters, and then you start to feel where she's going.
Right. Okay. And I sort of get that. Absolutely, I get that. But I would have liked more flashback scenes like really involving like training. That's the other thing. I'm not saying that I hate this movie. I think it's an okay movie. I would definitely watch it again. But the hardest part for me is to buy that even just a few months of training and living in Scotland with Jude Law's character, now I'm ready to go out and assassinate people like I am James Bond, like I'm David in my sex. And I get that you're pointing out that she's not really that good, but she's clumsy and special. But again, I feel like there should be a lot more training involved to be able to do what you just did.
Well, see, one of the things I kind of like about this that maybe makes it a little unique from the movies that I was reminded of, such as Run, Lola Run, or and
Fair
so
enough.
forth, is that she's not a badass. She's just kind of a person who's come from a rough experience and has been in a rough lifestyle for a certain amount of time. She doesn't really have a skill set and so forth. She's not cool in that way or anything like that. But what I find funny is, or interesting, or whatever you want to call it, he's asking her to shoot him in the sternum, specifically where to shoot him. She shoots and it's off the mark, or it appears to be, and the next thing you hear him say is, "I put you in the field."
Yeah,
that doesn't seem like the right reaction.
My biggest complaint about this movie and the story behind it really is, you've got a good story. By all means, it's very fascinating about a woman who overcomes all this and wants to hunt down the people that robbed her of her family and other folks. Fun. And I'm going to get to a point I'm going to make here in a minute. But shouldn't this be like a 8-episode series or something? Don't you feel like this should be drawn out even more with your training? And I feel like you're packing a lot into a 2-hour movie to explain it for me to believe. You're ready to go out in the field and kill people and seek revenge. I feel like 45-minute episodes, 8 of them, kind of like they do with the Jack Ryan series on Amazon, would have been a lot better to tell this story.
Isn't it funny now that after 10 or so years of live streaming and getting TV shows on Netflix and so forth, now we're talking about turning movies into Netflix and Amazon series.
Well,
this is the way it's going.
But you know what the thing is Game of Thrones proved that when you have such a large story, especially from multiple point of view, it takes a series to tell the story of one book. Or in the case of Clash of Kings, 2 seasons, because there's so much going on. And it was great. people fit well. So I feel like there's a lot of stories that can get that treatment. I still have a lot of unanswered questions about her and what kind. So I'm like, maybe there's a sequel in the works or something. I felt the same way when I saw Ben Affleck's movie, The Accountant. Like, I want to know more, and I want a sequel. So let's get, again, we'll get to the crux of this. It's a good plot. It's good. You've got a great cast. Blake Lively did a phenomenal job in this movie. Absolutely, not denying it.
I thought her transformation felt a little bit more fair compared to some other stories where we see the lead protagonist is a female, and they weren't afraid to show that she's got some weaknesses and that she has to build up strength, that she's not automatically
more than her journey
strong
as
starting.
the traveling pants.
So I thought that was kind of a bold move, because nowadays what you see is that the women are already so strong they don't really need to learn or know anything.
You're right.
So that was good.
She is fragile.
Yeah.
And they did show that she had to get past her addiction and learn to do everything. And it was great to have Jude Law push her in step.
And perhaps another point to make about turning these into miniseries, is that not only can you spread out the story more, but you're sitting down to watch one episode of 45 minutes to an hour each, or whatever it is, instead of watching something that could be short of 2 hours and then going on to 2.5 or 3 hours, like so many movies have been doing lately. I think maybe they're trying too hard to keep up with the miniseries. People don't want to sit down and watch something for that long anymore, it seems, unless you're binge watching.
Well, as for folks our age, late 30s, 40s and everything, we're like, we're okay being home on a Saturday night and binge watching something. Brendan and I both commented that when the new season of Jack Ryan dropped earlier this year, we binge watched it in a day, even though it wasn't that good. But we still made it, and it didn't feel like it was too much. I can do that with a lot of series. Maybe I'm just a little bit different, that I can't sit still. And I can. I'm usually working on my laptop, but at the same time, I can take breaks here and there. It's just, there's a lot crammed into 2 hours. Isn't that the biggest complaint about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker? Is you cram a 5-hour movie into 2.5 hours? This film rush. I want to know more about it, and I also feel like it gives you a chance to explore what she does with her life afterwards. Is she going to become a gun for hire? Is she going to become a field operative now?
Well, it's something we were discussing kind of as we were walking out, is this is an EO in production, which of course gets your attention right away if you're a 007 fan. Could there be a crossover? Could there be some kind of a drop-in? They mentioned MI6. No mention of any agents, specific agents per se. But there was a part of me that's kind of thinking, could we hear some kind of a drop-in somewhere?
Well, and they also hint to her that she was the top of her class, in school, going to Oxford, obviously very intelligent. But I want to point out something, and I mentioned this as we were talking after the movie. This whole plot is very, very similar to the actual original plot of the One Identity book by Robert Ludlum. Not the Matt Damon movie that was all action and just took the name. But the whole plot of that book, spoiler if you haven't read it, is the simple fact that you have a guy whose family gets killed, kind of wants revenge, gets hooked up with an intelligence agency, and they train him to be a spy. But his whole purpose is to take credit for assassinations to draw out the assassin that they're trying to get, which is Carlos Jackal, in real life, the assassin for 20 years before he got killed. And I look at her role like that's pretty much what you want. You are the actual real life Jason Bourne, giving you a new identity, or you're assuming the identity of somebody else. So, I just felt that kind of thing.
But I think this is the framework that's being used in a lot of different stories at this point. This isn't necessarily totally original when you think about it.
I mean, there's no such thing as original stories, Alex.
What was that?
Whoa!
That I heard before. There hasn't been an original movie since 8.5 or something like that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I'm not one of these people who thinks we need to have something completely original because I don't expect that. It's about how you do it, not what you have, but how you use it and so forth.
Right. That's why I'm such a huge Star Wars fan. I know those mythical stories that they're telling, but again, if you're doing it with spaceships and lightsabers, I'm okay with that.
it's spaghetti western,
Right.
Or space opera, which is
Right.
fine. Yeah.
So I'm not saying that people shouldn't go see this movie. I would definitely go see it again. Like, I mean, if I was on a date and she was like, I really want to see this movie, yeah, I'll buy movie tickets to see it again. But I'm not going to rush out to say that this is like the greatest espionage thriller or anything like that. I will praise the performances of Jude Law and, especially Blake Lively.
Sterling Brown was good too.
Yeah, he was also very good.
He was very effective, I thought.
And the whodunit and the man behind the curtain of it all was really interesting too. And you do get to see this woman transform from tragedy to something strong. You see her blossom in her own right. But again, I feel like we've seen this plot before. It's not completely original, and you're cramming an awful lot into 2 hours. I just can't quite grasp the fact that she's good enough to do all of that after a few months. Especially with Jude Law's speech about, it's going to hurt, you're going to hate it, it's going to be like the worst thing. I mean, the old, for us Army folk, it's like the drill sergeant speech at the beginning of boot camp that you get.
I do have to give it some credit though, because her first encounter or battle, she hesitates and almost gets killed by a blind man.
Sure.
So
okay.
There is
I'll give you that. I will give you
and
that.
her second attempt, she fails again.
Right.
I mean, she was able to knock off that guy, but he was blind.
Well, that's
and the
the
next
point.
one,
Right, and that's
she couldn't follow through.
right. That's the point of the movie is you are not. It's like Luke Skywalker on his journey to be a Jedi. You're not truly a Jedi or strong enough until you defeat, the devil in your own lives, which for her was the real man behind the curtain. And we're not going to spoil that because we do want people to go see this movie. Now we always like to talk about music. I thought the music choices were very interesting.
Yeah, the original music, they're just using a lot of violin and strings. It's not anything. It's just sort of atmosphere, really. But some of the choices of source music, I thought were somewhat funny, tongue-in-cheek, if you will.
And the whole metaphor behind the title, the rhythm section.
Yeah.
Which again, we're not going to spoil that because you should go see the movie.
Yeah.
Go. Again, we're not saying you should go see the movie. But like I said, I mean, it's not. I'm not walking out of the theater like, yeah, it's the greatest movie of 2020. Yeah. So for me personally, I'm going to give it a good grade of 7. It's okay. It's not necessarily good or great or anything. It's okay. But I would certainly watch it again because I love the performances. And I love Jude Law playing an intelligence agency that would train someone. I thought he was really good in that role.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder, was he ever really seriously considered to play a character like James Bond at any point? I don't recall that, but not back then. But now you look at him, and he's kind of changed himself as an actor in terms of the kind of movies he does and so forth. And you can kind of see him playing at least maybe a character in a movie like that.
Well,
at this point in his career.
Okay, but you and I can admit, because we sat at this screening at the Dallas Film Festival years ago, that he is a great actor, because we had the pleasure of seeing a movie called Dom Hemingway.
And the opening scene will leave you breathless. I mean, literally, just 30 seconds in, you're just kind of, wow, it's just in your face.
Yeah.
And he needed to drive it home, and
right.
He had to kind of pull something back. He had to be a little more subtle in this film.
Right.
And that takes great restraint. That takes good discipline as an actor. So I thought he did that well.
Well, he's an older actor now, so he's a little bit more reserved and he's the older mentor. That's why he makes a very good, younger version of, Albus Dumbledore in the latest, Harry Potter type movie. But like I said, I mean, it's not. I think this is worth the price of a movie ticket. Again, I would definitely go see it again, and I want to see it again. But it's only a 7 for me.
And for me, I guess this is sort of like an early trend in 2020. I'm holding to a 6, just like in our previous film. And the way I was thinking, I was thinking about the previous film. I was thinking about the previous film because they're both in the action genre in some form. But I think Bad Boys works better more as a comedy. It was really funny at certain parts. As an action film, not so great, not very memorable per se. This movie, it's got good style. There's not really any comedy in there unless you count some of the subtle stuff that's just barely there, but it's still effective. This works a little bit better as an action film, but there's not much more there. Apart from the style, production quality, which you would expect from the Neo introduction. So I think it's right in line with a movie like Bad Boys, but for different reasons. So I think a 6 out of 10 is fair for me. And I think it's one of those movies where if I were to see it again, it might be easier to follow because now you know what to expect.
Now, you're not just giving it a 6 because you always have to be one great lesson than me.
No,
to be more of the harsher
this
critic.
is what I was leaning. Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
I couldn't go better than Bad Boys because I had given that one a 6, but I can't give it a 5 because it's not a bad movie. So
no, not at all. I mean,
now for the first portion of the film, I was thinking this doesn't make any sense. I'm not following this. It's a 5 out of 10. As it got better, I thought it's going 6, maybe 7.
No, the second and third act was definitely a lot better. Right, it takes a little while to get there. But you know, I praise Blake Lively for having such a physical role, considering she just had a child. So I think it's like she just had her third child with Ryan Reynolds. So,
oh man.
Yeah, this is where I get to praise our writer Alison Costa, who's our mama bear on the staff, who has all these kids, and like 6 weeks later, she's got all the fat worked off of it, still in shape, only needs 4 hours of sleep.
That's a good plug for the mommies, for the moms out there.
Right, exactly.
Tribute to you, go see this movie, you can relate to the character as an actress for sure. And I'm not saying that condescendingly, I'm serious.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I mean, she obviously, worked hard and got into shape and did this movie and very good. But overall, I mean, it's not a bad movie at all. And even if it's just a matinee or Friday night at a cheaper theater or whatever, it's a movie worth seeing and you should see.
It's a movie that I'm not convinced it's going to do well at box office. I don't know if the EON production tag is going to be enough.
No.
But I think we're off to a good start with 2020.
Well,
it's only January, and we're starting out with some pretty good movies.
Because you have this movie coming out 2 months before the next James Bond movie. So once that movie comes out, we're going to forget, oh yeah, they made this movie. But I like the idea. Right. I like the idea that they're doing other movies. And I think they should branch out beyond James Bond, with similar formulas. So, anyway. But yeah, that's the way we rate it. 6, I give it a 7. We're never going to be the same. That's how we work on our drinking reviews. But yeah, anyway. So as for the beer that we're trying tonight, I have a good double pecan barrel-aged beer by the 512 Brewery out of Austin, Texas. And you're drinking
Uncentered by Real Ale Brewery. That's a tough one to say, especially when you've had a few hops going down.
Right.
I got to represent the bowling community with that one.
But we tried to give a lot of love to Texas craft beers when we're doing our drinking reviews. And one of our favorite spots here at Trinity Hall Irish Pub and Mockingbird Station here in Dallas, Texas. This has been another episode of Drinking Reviews. Thank you very much. We'll be back another time.